Good day everyone, my name is Pundag, and for this video presentation, I'll be discussing on how to present the findings when writing our strategic financial plan. But beforehand, we have to have a review of the previous lesson presenting the financial analysis. The concepts under this fundamental comprises of the formats and positions, vertical analysis, and of course the horizontal analysis, where we interpret the financial ratios such as the profitability, activity, liquidity, and stability, or solvency and leverage ratios. Now, it is important that we have familiarized ourselves with assessing and interpreting the financial information of our subject entity, which is a prerequisite for this lesson because we cannot make the findings without the analysis of the information of the entity we are studying. To orient ourselves, I want to outline some key terms for this lesson. The findings present the summary of the results of the assessment or the analysis derived from the information of the subject entity, which comprises of qualitative and quantitative. Qualitative findings are formulated from secondary sources, which typically involves the collection, analysis, interpretation of data, which is not easily reduced to figures or numbers. Now we have for the quantitative findings are information from the analyzed financial statement of our subject entity. So for our subject entity, we have the Boxted Philippines Corporation. The nature of the business is selling, buying, distributing of pharmaceutical products such as vaccines and healthcare products. Now, to proceed, we have two qualifications for the findings. We have the qualitative and the quantitative findings. Now, both are equally important, although the quantitative findings requires more thorough and elaborate composition of information since we are deriving from the technical analysis of the information we have analyzed from our subject entity. Now, it is important to remember when we are composing for our findings, we have to present our information in the manner that is articulate, quantifiable, and concise. Now, we have for our first illustration, the concise information and the citation from the APA format reference. We have for the author Anastasia, and for the year published is 2010. Now, we have the quantitative findings. So under this is the summary of findings derived from the analysis of financial information of our subject entity, which involves the profitability, activity, liquidity, and stability ratios in general. But for our subject entity, Boxted Philippines Corporation, we have included some vital data such as the comparative statements, compounded annual growth rate, and trend analysis. So let's have an example from the comparative statements. There is an increase on the company's cash on hand and in bank by 190.76% from year 2007 to 2008. Now, as you may notice that in this information, we are comparing the entity's financial performance between given a particular account cycle, which is from the year 2007 to 2008. That is for the comparative statement. Now let's have the findings for our trend analysis. Now for the trend analysis, we are looking for the findings analyzed within the 5-year trend of the subject entity's financial performance. So for example, we have the company's cash in hand and on bank had increased for 5 years. And another is the company's total current assets are on increase until 2007. So as you can see that we are summarizing the findings within the 5-year trend financial performance of our subject entity. Next, for the common size, we have an example. In the year 2008, the company's cost of sales marked lowest at 53.71%. So, for the common size statement or the income statement, we are looking for the findings derived from the information of the company's performance in its revenue and expenses. So, next, we have for another inclusion in our findings is the compounded annual growth rate. An example is the CAGR or the compound annual growth rate on sales on revenue has reached a positive figure of 93.20%. Now, let's proceed with the profitability. We have the entity has efficiently managed their asset as it posted the fastest turnover of 9.52 times, or in terms of days, 38 days in the year 2012 alone. So as you can see, we are arriving now from the general format of writing the findings, which is the profitability ratio. Now let's proceed to an example of a finding from the liquidity ratio. The current ratio for the past 5 years ranged from 2.35 to 4.42. Another is the current asset to total asset ratio shows that 63% of the total asset comes from the current assets. For the solvency, we have an example of the findings from the shareholders' equity. Equity to debt ratio of Luxtec ranges from 4.03 to 8.86 in the year 2007 to 2012. In summary, the findings composes of the overview of the results of the assessment of financial information of our subject entity. So it is classified into 2 sections, namely the quantitative and the qualitative findings. Now, when writing our findings, it is important to never forget to follow the appropriate format, which is it is suggested to write the information in bullet points and to include the citations from the APA formatted references. And that is all for writing the findings for our strategic financial plan. Thank you.